What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of picks for the weekend. If you guys do not know what I normally do on Fridays, I try to just rapid fire off as many plays as possible that I like going into a huge slate of games Saturday and Sunday. And I really like the slate of games, especially in college football. And I'm going to be getting into that. I will say the first Friday that we did, we went 8-3, and the second Friday we went 5-4. Okay, so with a grand total of 13-7 so far over the season, over the 2 Fridays I've been doing that, which is 65%, which is good, right? I'm happy with 65%, 70%. That's exactly what I'm aiming to do. I'm not, I actually have 12 picks today that I'm going to be going over, and I'm not aiming to go 12-0, right? 12-0 would just be unrealistic if I told you guys I'm trying to go 12-0, right? Obviously, I'm trying to hit all these plays, but 12-0 is just straight up unrealistic. But really like today's picks. If you guys don't know what we do a lot of correlation on this channel. Here's a great example of that, is taking 2 unders together on the same team. So if the quarterback underperforms, his number one receiver or one of his number one receivers is going to underperform. Here's a good example of taking the overs. And, you'll see here, Marcel Reed, KC Concepcion, we have a setup for this in tomorrow night's game. And if Marcel Reed, let's just say, throws a 50-yard bomb to KC Concepcion, then that's going to be 50 yards for him. And that's going to be like 50 yards for Marcel Reed. So he won't be that far. He'll probably be like around here, right? I will say this Colorado game, we actually got a setup for tonight, which is nice to see. And it was because of this exact same concept, obviously, right? We have Ryan Staub, and then we have Joseph Williams, and Ryan threw I think it was like a 40-yard touchdown to Joseph Williams. So that instantly sent Ryan over. His line was he was at 150. That sent him over, and that sent Joseph Williams over in just one play, okay, in that game. So really amazing stuff in correlation, and it can really get you a lot of units. I'll say the only other really eventful thing is Nico went under, and then his guy Mike E. Matthews that we bet on, unfortunately, over. Did go, unfortunately, over, which sucks because he was the only guy who went over in this game. UCLA played so bad, but we bet on the one guy that went over. So, yeah. Anyway, last year, guys, this summer, we've gone up 109 units this summer. So since May 1st, this year, we're up 226 units. I cannot talk. It's getting late, guys. So if I'm stumbling over words, I apologize. And then this last year, we went up 600 units last year using this exact same strategy. And in NFL season, I actually have a screenshot of this. In college football season, we went up about 300 units in NFL, which is the same season. But in the NFL, we went up about 200 units. And in college football, went up close to 300 units, right? So we do this a lot. College football, NFL are massive seasons for us, and we cash out a lot on this, all right? So I will say, if you guys like what I'm talking about in the video, I'm about to get in the picks, I promise. But if you guys want to get into my VIP, and not only that, if you guys want a free $100 to bet with, I am telling you guys right now to get Onyx odds. I've said this all week. I'm going to continue pushing Onyx odds. I don't know whether they're going to do this just through the weekend. I don't know whether they're going to do this for a week, for a month, for all season. I don't know how long they're going to do this. I'm just the messenger. I've talked to their founder multiple times. He wants as many people onto this app at this time as possible, picking, betting, having fun, getting free picks, whatever it is. And I'm the middleman for that. And again, I have an affiliate code with them. It is code DETECTIVE. You will get $100 in free picks, okay? $100 in free picks. So this is how it comes across. It is 4 $25 entries, okay, that you will get on Onyx odds. All you have to do is text me the word Onyx to my number right here if you're interested. I will get you that link. You can sign up. It takes 5 minutes, and you will get a free $100 to bet with. All you have to do is take a $10 entry on the app to get that, so they kind of verify that you're a bettor, I guess, type thing. So, they know that you're at least a real person. And you will also get 1 free month of the VIP, okay? So it's a win-win-win-win, and on top of that, I'm winning because I'm affiliated with it, and I have a relationship with the founder where I'm trying to help them get some people onto their app, of course, and we're going to be betting on Onyx odds. I already went over this. If you guys can't tell, I actually tried to record this video, and I was stumbling over my words like crazy, so I'm re-recording. But my favorite pick is South Carolina right now, money line. So I would go ahead and go on Onyx odds, use code DETECTIVE, text me Onyx, and then I'll get you the link. Take South Carolina money line, take $10 on that, and then you'll have 4 free picks of $25 each. Okay, and that will also be in the first pinned comment down below. You can just click on that link. That'll take you straight to sign up. And that should also take you straight to South Carolina Moneyline if you already have Onyx, okay? So that link down below in the pinned comment also works. So put 10 bucks on South Carolina money line, send me a screenshot of proof to my number right here on the screen. Again, this is my personal number. I will respond to you very quickly, and I'll get you into the VIP after you do so and after you do the steps. I will say I'm probably going to be going to bed pretty soon after this, so just wait till the morning. But anyway, guys, let's get into the picks. I'm going to be going pretty rapid fire, okay? So there's going to be a lot of things I'm just going to be like, I think this is going to happen, and it's like, just bear with me here because it is gone off of a lot of research. All right, I spent probably the past 4 hours researching a lot of these plays, and I'm just going to be saying some stuff that's like, this is what I think is going to happen. And just so you know, a lot of research has gone behind a lot of these plays. Now, this one I've been researching all week. Malik Murphy over. I think this is still one of my favorite plays. You have Tech, that is a horrible defense. Okay, if you don't believe me. You have, I went over this earlier in the week, but you have Arkansas, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Colorado, Ohio State, or Iowa State, TCU, Baylor. All of these teams threw for 300 to 400 yards against Texas Tech. They are one of the worst passing defenses. On top of that, you have Oregon State that is in Malik Murphy that is probably going to lose this game. So they're going to be losing this game. And on top of them losing this game, they're going to throw the ball quite a lot, right? So they're going to be throwing the ball against one of the worst defenses. And because they're losing the game, they're going to be throwing more and more and more throughout that game, all right? So a common theme throughout this video and throughout what I always talk about is when you're losing the game, you're going to be throwing the ball more. Okay, which is contrary to what some people think, right? Some people think when you're winning the game, you're going to be throwing and throwing and throwing. But think about it. When you're winning, you're going to actually throw the ball less. When you're losing, you're going to be throwing the ball more because you're trying to come back in this game. So Tech is heavily favored, and they also have a horrible defense, okay? So this game has shootout written all over it. I followed Malik Murphy very closely through his career. I followed him through Texas. I'm a Texas fan. That's why I have a Bevo behind me. And I just think he's a decent quarterback. He's not amazing, but he's decent. Second play, Mark Gronowski. I kind of want to call him Gronkowski, but Gronowski, I believe is how you say his name. Now with this one, guys, you have this game, Iowa State. He throws for 83 yards, 13 pass completions. I've watched this guy. I'm going to be honest, he's not very good. Like, he's just straight up not very good. He's coming from Division II last year. This is the game I really want to highlight. They played Albany Great Danes. Okay, they won 34-7, and he had 44 passing yards. 44 passing yards, 8 for 15. Okay, look at how many times this team ran the ball. This is why, honestly, I love college football, because you have teams that stick to game plans. Okay, Iowa, they stick to game plans. You have Army, Navy, stick to game plans. You have, and then the opposite side of that, you have teams like LSU, you have teams like Ole Miss, where they stick to game plans, throwing and throwing and throwing, right? They keep throwing the ball till not. Syracuse is a good example of that. They throw and they throw and they throw and they throw. If throwing doesn't work, then they keep throwing, right? Iowa's opposite of that. If they run and running doesn't work, they keep running. So this guy, in a win, 34 points his team put up. He threw the ball 15 times, 8 completions, 44 yards. Okay, now you have UMass, who is a team that's probably going to, get hung up like, 30, 40 points versus UMass. And again, it's going to be a similar story. So I think 154 yards is a lot for them. Again, they're probably going to be winning by like 20 to 25 points at halftime. And I'll be surprised by halftime if they're winning by that much, if they throw another 3 times the entire game. Honestly, I'll be surprised if they throw very much at all, if they're winning by 20 points at some point in this game, all right? So that's the second under. Next is going to be Ryan Wingo, under, actually, on receiving yards. So I said I'm a Texas fan. I watch Texas Longhorns very closely. We have actually Parker Livingston. I don't even know if there's any lines up for him, but this guy has looked really good as the number 1 receiver. That is crazy that he has a green goblin as his touchdown thing. That's really insane. He's a freshman receiver. I wouldn't take this, okay? Like, even though it's a green goblin, maybe he scores, maybe he doesn't. It's just, I don't know. That's just kind of crazy. But Ryan Wingo, he hasn't looked great. He's had some drops, and him and Arch are just not pairing up well together. I don't know what it is. They're just not on the same page, all right? So Ryan Wingo, I think the only way that he goes over this is one massive play. He gets a screen pass, and he breaks it. He gets a slant, and he breaks it. He gets a really long bomb from Arch, and they finally, connect, and they catch the ball, and he scores or something. If that happens, then it's like, all right, he did it, right? He goes over. But I think most likely that doesn't happen. And I also think most likely Texas is going to have a lot of short fields. They played San Jose State. They got like 3 fumbles. Okay, so a lot of those fields were starting at like their own 40, the other team's 40. So all Arch had to do is move the ball 40 yards and then score. And you move the ball 40 yards by just running the ball or something like that, because it's Texas versus a team that's not very good. Okay, so again, they're going to have a lot of short fields. They might even return a kick for a touchdown. They might even get a block punt or something like that, or like stuff like that's going to happen in Texas for UTEP, right? So I'm taking Ryan Wingo under because I just don't think that big play is going to happen this game. And they might also sub in all of their backups, right? There's only a few opportunities where these teams, these top 5 teams that have hard schedules, are going to be able to sub in their backups to start playing. UTEP is going to be one of those games. So Ryan Wingo by the 4th quarter is probably going to be out of this game, all right? I'm going to go a little bit faster here. I feel like I'm slowing down. Nussmeier over. Really like this. Again, this LSU-Florida game for me just has shootout written all over it. It just has like instant classic written all over it. I don't know what it is. It's two, you have Louisiana, you have Florida, you have a night game. It's going to be beautiful. It's in LSU. It's in Death Valley. I don't know. Something about it. I just think it's going to be like a really, really instant classic type game. Nussmeier, I love taking his over. You'll see he's gone under this in 2 games, but he played Clemson. The score was 14-7. It was like a very weird game. It was like slow, and he still almost goes over this. Okay, so now I think they have their groove. It's the 3rd game. I think he's going to go over. I took him over so much last year. He's one of the best passers in college football. I'm taking him over. Okay, next play, Sam Leavitt. One of my favorite picks of the weekend, guys, him to go over. Coming off of a bounce-back week, he had a horrible game versus Mississippi State. You cannot really say any other way. They started just running him like crazy. We actually cashed a 4-man because of this. So we took the Arizona State guys under. We took the Mississippi State guys over. I'll be honest, I kind of just randomly played that entry because I liked the same game correlation, and it worked out. We hit the 4-man. Sam Leavitt over. Now, why do I like this entry? Okay, we have them playing Texas State. Texas State, a very reputable offense, okay? They put up 43 points versus UTSA, and they put up 51 points, and you'll go back last year, guys. Like, they have a good offense, right? A lot of these games are putting up 50+, 30+. You see they played Arizona State last year, which, by the way, Arizona State was a playoff team. They played them last year. They came within 3 or 4 points of them. And what I like about this is you have a really bad defense in Texas State, but a really good offense. Like, not really good, but like a good offense that can put up points. So I think Texas State is going to keep up with Arizona State, which is exactly what we want to see. We want to see Arizona State just knife through their defense like butter, and we want Texas State to answer, okay? So that is the main difference in some of these games, is that if Arizona State blows them out 50-0, then Sam Leavitt's not going to pass. And they have no reason to keep pushing the ball down the field. And they're just going to be like, all right, we won. We're just going to run the ball out. We're just going to kneel the ball down and just run the clock out, right? Because we already won this game. We'll just put the backups in. But what we need to happen is we need bad defense, so then Arizona State can push the ball down the field very easily. And then we need Texas State to answer, okay? So hopefully this game can be some sort of semblance of like 40-35 or 40-25. If Texas State, I think, can put up at least 24 to 30 points, then that's going to bring the heat a little bit to Arizona State, and they're going to keep passing the ball, okay? That's a play. Preston Stone, all right? So this one's a little bit of an interesting one. Preston Stone over pass attempts. I think this is such an easy play. They're playing Oregon. By a blink of an eye, they're going to be down this game. I mean, they're going to be down this game. I'll be honest, within the first 5 minutes of this game, they'll be down to Oregon. This is a very similar game you'll see here. They get crushed by Tulane. It was 3-23. It wasn't particularly close. Preston Stone throws 4 interceptions. I'll get to that, why that is important. But Preston Stone, he throws the ball 36 times, which is almost 10 times more than his line is right now. Now, why do I like the 4 interceptions thing? It's a little bit weird, but it's because they didn't sub him out. Okay, if you throw 4 interceptions and you don't get subbed out, that's good, because you know that this guy is going to stay as the quarterback, all right? The worst thing that can happen when we take an over is a guy gets subbed out or a guy gets injured. So we want to take that off the risk. He threw a ton of interceptions, and he still was in, right? So he's versus Oregon. Let's be honest, they expect to lose to Oregon by a lot. If he throws a couple of interceptions, they're going to keep him in the field, and they'll be like, whatever, man, just keep throwing the ball. So again, what I want to reiterate, like seriously, is that when you're down in a game, you throw the ball more. When you're up in a game, you throw the ball less. Okay, so this guy's going to be down pretty much all game. He's going to be throwing the ball like crazy. All right, so I'm going to clear all these, and then we have just a couple of more. I'm going to run through these very quick. All right, so this one of my favorite plays, Jaden Malava. He reminds me, and This team reminds me of Ole Miss last year. They pass the ball, they pass the ball, they pass the ball. If they're up by 50 points, they keep passing the ball, and they're honestly a little bit disrespectful about it. So I like him to go over. I just think it's one of those games. He's facing Purdue. They're an okay team. Every other team he's played, they've blown out, and they've still gone over this by a ton. All right. Now, next play is going to actually be a duo together. So CJ Carr, I'm going to take him under, and then I'm going to take Marcel Reed to go over. Okay. So it is Texas A&M versus Notre Dame. It is at Notre Dame, so it's not at Kyle Field, which is important for A&M because they have probably the best home field advantage out of anyone in the whole country. CJ Carr under, Marcel Reed over. Marcel Reed is a honestly underrated passer. He passes a lot versus UTSA, who they blew out UTSA. He threw the ball, He threw the ball 34 times versus UTSA that they blew out. And again, I think if they're behind in this game, they're going to throw the ball more and more and more. There's no reason why Marcel Reed's line right now should be lower than CJ Carr, because what Notre Dame wants to do is they want to run the ball. They want to run the ball with Carr. They want to run the ball with Jeremiah Love, and they want to end this game very quick on defense and running this ball, okay? So Marcel Reed, I think A&M's going to be down in this game, and I think Marcel Reed's going to have to use his arm to get us back in this game. I've also seen a heavy trend this year of them using Marcel Reed's passing ability more than they did last year. I don't know what happened. I don't know whether that's a coaching emphasis or he just got a lot better at passing or something, but I do like this, and this is very correlated, okay? So think about it. If A&M is losing, they're going to throw more. If Notre Dame is winning, which means that A&M is losing, by the way, then they're going to pass less, okay? So less throwing from this guy, more throwing from this guy. That finishes off our college football. That is 9 plays right there in college football. Let's jump over to the NFL very quickly. First play on the NFL is going to be A.J. Brown to go under receiving targets. All right. Now, I'll say with this, there was a big news story that, he only got 1 receiving target last week, or that first week they played. It was actually the very last pass of the game by Jalen Hurts. It actually ended up not cashing us a 4-man because I took him under pass completions. Not still salty about it. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But I think A.J. Brown, guys, 8 receiving targets that he's going to need to get is way too high. If you look at Jalen Hurts, his line right now is throwing the ball 26 to 27 times. So let's say he throws the ball 26 times. You're going to need 8 of those 26 attempts to beat A.J. Brown. That is a lot, especially when you got to feed Smith, you got to feed Barkley, you got to feed whoever the backup tight end is because Goddard's out. You got to feed another running back that's going to be coming in. You got to feed the wide receiver 3. I believe it's Dotson. You're going to have to feed a lot of people. And again, you might be like, well, it's A.J. Brown, but A.J. Brown only got 1 receiving target last week, right? So, it kind of is what it is. I'll say what I think is going to happen in this game, and who knows what's going to happen, but what I think is going to happen is I think A.J. Brown's going to get a touchdown. I think he's going to get 30, 40 yards. I think he's going to get 3-4 catches, and everyone's going to be like, all right, cool, A.J. Brown, he did his thing. He was a big part of this win. He got a big touchdown. But I still think at the end of the day, he's going to go under this, okay? So I think it's likely that he maybe gets 6, maybe 7 targets. I think 7 is even stretching it, but 7.5 is really, really good right now. And then we do have the next play. We got 2 more here. So if you're sticking through this video, man, I really appreciate it. Again, text me the word Onyx. Should have a banner on the screen somewhere where you guys can do that at any time on this video. And you'll see here Justin Fields. I like him over pass completion, okay? So I'll pull up this graph. Here's his pass chart last week. Guys, look at all these passes. They're all within 20 yards. And they honestly, they played like a college team. And that's not disrespect to the Jets because they look good. What I mean by that is they stuck to a strategy. They stuck running the ball and throwing short passes. Now, what NFL teams normally do is they're normally very balanced. Running, passing, deep throws, short throws, because everyone on NFL teams can do everything. Now, the Jets, they're sticking to their runs and they're sticking to their short throws, and I really like it. That's why I'm not taking them over completions or over attempts or anything like that. I'm just taking them over completion percentage. And you'll see last week he got 72% completion percentage. He went 17 out of 22. Again, it's because look at all these throws. They're super easy to make throws, okay? So really like that pick. And then my final pick, guys, is Tyler Warren to go over receptions, okay? And maybe even targets, guys. Ooh, targets might be nice too. 9 targets, 7 receptions. I know we got, I don't know, targets might be good too. But I want to say with Tyler Warren, guys, I'm going to go ahead and, my gut saying receptions. I don't know. it's between these, okay? But what I want to say about Tyler Warren, guys, is I think Tyler Warren's going to be one of those tight ends that we hear about for the next 10 years, okay? I think he's going to be one of those Kittle-type tight ends. I think he's going to be one of those, Jason Witten type tight ends. Like, those tight ends that just define, not necessarily that he's going to define a decade, but he's going to be on this team for 10 to 12 years, I think is what Tyler Warren's going to be, okay? And I'll just leave it at that. I think he's instantly a superstar. I think he's a very mature, I think he's like 24 or something like that. So he's like an instant pro. I think he's an instant huge part of this team. And he did all of this, guys, in like one half versus the Dolphins. They were up like 28-0 at halftime, and they just ran the ball the whole last half. So in like one half, he got 9 targets and 7 receptions. Okay. Now that's probably not all true. Like, he probably got a couple of receptions in the second half. But again, they're facing the Broncos, who they're probably going to be losing to and lose to in this game, and they're going to be throwing this ball a lot more. Now, I'll also say, with the Broncos, you also want to avoid Pat Surtain, right? And Pat Surtain absolutely shut down Calvin Ridley. I mean, he shuts down anyone he plays, and I think Tyler Warren is going to be the guy that they look to instead of Michael Pittman, because Pat Surtain is on the Broncos, obviously. So, last play there, that's 12 plays. If you guys stuck to the end, I appreciate it. Technically, it's 14 because you guys have these two. But, man, I cannot stress this enough. Get Onyx odds. You'll get a free month of the VIP. We will be cashing all month long. October, you'll be getting into the VIP up until mid-October, and it's going to be amazing to watch how much we can grow here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, text me Onyx if you're interested in getting a free $100. It's so crazy to say that. But thank you guys again, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.